low self-esteem and put the 4 Ps in place, and then we collected data on it. These are the stats for self-esteem from Canfield. 80% of first graders have high self-esteem. By the time kids get to 5th grade, that number is 20%. By the time they get to high school, that number is 5%. Self-esteem, you know, when you meet a little kid, they think they can put on a cape and fly across the world. And as kids get older and older, they have less confidence in themselves to be able to do anything. And low self-esteem causes lots of behavior issues. So I just want to show you on my website, I've got all kinds of things for the 4 Ps. And these are all things I shared with you. Philanthropy. This is freerice.com. The kids can go play a game, and every answer they get right earns so many grains of rice for a starving country. And what the kids can do is earn those with good behavior to get to go spend 5 minutes earning rice for, or 15 minutes earning rice for, and then they feel good because they've done some philanthropy. I think philanthropy is one of the biggest pieces that we can do because it's really hard to feel bad about yourself when you're doing something good for other people. So I just want to show you some of the data, and all of this is in here. I obviously have a lot of things that I want to share, and we're running very short on time. Maybe I took out all the data. I guess I took out all the data. On my website, I have all the data, and I show we took 1 month of baseline data. We took a month's worth of grades and averaged them, and we took a month's worth of baseline data on inappropriate behaviors, and then put the 4 Ps in place. 1 month later, we took data again, just a 1-day probe, averaged their grades for the next month, averaged those out, and then took a 1-day probe for behavior. Every single kid, behavior went down, grades went up. Every single kid. So that's a lot of behavior changing for a lot of different kids. I want to show you a couple. I just have so much I want to share with you. If you want to stay after and come up and take this off my website, I think this is a really cool thing, and I've got it on my laptop. I don't have it on my website because I don't own this stuff. But I went out and found all these games. I've got like 82 different files, and they're already done for you, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it looks like the real thing, and all you do is go put in your questions to study by, and kids get so excited, and they don't even realize that they're reviewing for a test by doing this stuff, and it's got, it goes through everything. So you'd put your questions with the answers in here, and I just went out on the World Wide Web and typed in PowerPoint plus games plus free. And all these things came up, and if you want to come up, if you have a USB stick, I'd be happy to, at least if one person could get it, then you could email it. I don't post it on my website just because I don't own all these, but I just want you to see I've got Jeopardy, Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? You know, and these are games, it doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, adults go play this. So it's a really cool way to get kids involved. So you can put the questions on there. And I've got simple ones for little kids, like look at this with the race cars. So you can divide the kids into teams, and the way this works, so you ask a question, what's 2 plus 1? And you've got team yellow, team blue, team orange. Team yellow was the first one to raise their hand and say 3, so you click to move the yellow car forward. And they just go through the whole little thing, and we'll let them, if they win. So it's very simple. I've got horses, little horses that would run. There is a really cool book called Reality is Broken by Jane McGonigal. And she said, we all know somebody who's hooked on Angry Birds or Farmville or something like. How many of you know somebody who's hooked on that? Yeah, now these are adults, and they keep research on how many hours people spend on those sites. Do you know that some people spend 40 hours a week playing Angry Birds? And But now we talk about what do kids do when they go home? They play games where they're constantly being challenged, and why is it that kids are willing to spend 40 hours a week doing that, but not 40 hours a week doing our homework? And so her whole premise is that we've got to start thinking about what is it that makes games so enticing to adults and to kids, and how can we bring that into the classroom and get kids as hooked on learning as they are on playing those games. And she said, here's the deal, here's why they get so hooked on that. It's fun. Fear of failure is not a risk. If you die, you get another life. But if your teacher calls on you and says, what's 5 plus 5, and you say 11 instead of 10, you just failed in front of everybody and it's embarrassing. But if the little thing spitting the eggs out of its mouth hits you and you fall off the brick wall and your friend's sitting beside you, that's funny. And you get to have another chance at it. So we have to think about that. The psychology of happiness, games make us feel happier. It makes us more creative, more resilient, and better able to lead others in world-changing efforts. So I've got all these games that you can, or if you want to, you can just go home and type in PowerPoint templates plus games plus free, and tons of them come up.
They're good for staff training.
They are.
Who's smarter than dorm staff? We changed the name for that.
Yeah. And these are just a few of them that I've got. I think there's 80 different files. So if you have a USB stick and you want to come up and get it, I'm happy to share that with you afterwards. My plane doesn't leave until 6 o'clock tonight, so I can stay here until I call the cab. What time is it? 2:20. Okay. I have so many things I want to share, so let me just show you. A couple more things. Thank you for bearing with me. Here's one more picture of another way to do the scratch off. So the kids can earn, and they're trying to play bingo. So the kids can scratch one off and they get the class prize. So you could say to a class, if we can have 15 minutes with no interruptions, I'll let somebody scratch off one of these. And once again, laminate it first so you can use it from year to year. So it could be bingo, where if you have a class that's totally out of control and you need to break it down into 15-minute increments, this would be a way to take that and play it a little bit. And I know every once in a while you get the bad water year, you know, where there's a group of kids that the water was bad that year. And we can watch them with their data on Swiss. You know, 3rd grade's bad, then when they move up to 4th grade, and it has nothing to do with the teachers. It's just that combination of kids, and we always just say the water was bad that year. We can watch them all the way up to high school. Start a homework club, because I know homework is a problem, getting kids to do homework. Actually, if you read the research on how effective homework was, you might change your mind about doing it. But start a homework club where the kids send texts to each other to remind each other. You know, almost every kid's got some way to send texts or email. Very few kids don't have some way to do that. So have them responsible for each other. And then if they all do their homework, they get to play Homeworkopoly, where they're earning chance cards, which are prizes for the classroom. And if you go to this website, and I made it a tiny URL so that it was easy for you to find, you can download the game board, the chance cards, all of that, and it's already done for you. And all you have to do is go there and download it.
Could you give us, in a nutshell, quick, what the research on homework says?
It says that it doesn't really, I'm going to start a war in here. It says that it doesn't really, I've been attacked for saying this, but it says that it doesn't really improve grades because the kids aren't doing it half the time, or the parents are doing it for them, that you're better off not.
I just learned something new about homework too. My nephew was struggling, he's got ADHD, and my sister told me that his new teacher this year, all last year they just pulled like it was like crazy, the stress in 3rd grade, and now he's in 4th grade, and his new teacher set up a system and he got no more homework for him, but one thing at a time. And then he's been building it and then adding a little bit at a time, but he's like, but he sat down and talked to him about it. He's 9, he's like, okay, you guys spend 2 hours of fighting every night, 3 hours of fighting. Now all I want you to do is math, and he picked that because that was his strong suit. He does best in math. So he's like, I want you to do your math homework. That's it. You don't have to do the reading. You don't have to do the And then now he's added a little bit every time, and my sister's like amazed at, she doesn't even have to prompt him anymore.
Yeah.
Comes home, does the math assignment, and then he gets his.
Because he can be successful.
And he's successful, and now she said the guy has done it several years with like other kids, and it's worked, and she fights with her husband because he's like, well, how's he gonna learn that if he's not doing his spelling? But I started thinking, I was like, it makes sense, because the kid, and he's still getting A's and B's, and like he's learning, he's doing his class, he's getting the work done, and then, you know, so it's like, it's only, you know, it seems like it's working, so anybody that, teachers out there that want to try it for kids that aren't doing their homework.
Well, yeah, I love that.
Figure out what works for, but it's definitely worked for him, and then they just keep giving him a little bit more, and he feels success, and he doesn't complain, he comes right home and he does it, and they're not fighting, and he's still getting grades in the other classes, so it seems to be working.
Yeah, I gave projects, not homework. I gave them a project and they'd have so much time to work on it. It's time, sorry. Thank you. Anyway, if you want to borrow the games or have the games, you can come up and stick your USB in here and get it. Thank you so much for hanging with me today.